Namye Okay, sorry. Relax. I'm looking for a song. Good evening, my dear brother. Wadomo. I'm looking for a particular song. Um, anyway, if I cannot get a song today, I'll get it in our next segment. Next week Sunday, I'll get that song. Stick it like I get it, but not a problem at all. If we not get time to do, we'll get time another day. Hello, good evening to everyone here who has joined us live for today's program. I want to appreciate all of you. I hope you guys are having an incredible Sunday over there. Do wayama. What you people have come to know about me, I don't hello, it's my can you guys hear me? Is my audio okay? Is the audio of the live program, is it okay? Is it good? Please confirm. Because someone is telling me talk now. Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. It's okay. Thank you. Alright, why I was it? Particularly, I have to thank all of you for those who have joined, and today's program is going to be quite very exciting. It's more of like a retrospective. It's more of like a retrospective program. On my best, you shall know that I can block you if you distract our programs. All right, if you distract our program, you know I can block you. So calm down. Today program, it's more of like a retrospective program. I had a conversation with one of the children of Bioweka a few weeks ago. She's an old woman now. That was about 2 weeks. We had a conversation, a beautiful conversation. She prayed for me, and she told me things that I will forever remember. Things that are very important to us as a people. I know in the past few weeks, for the past few weeks, I've discussed or emphasized more on the Shekiri people. I've talked more. I've tried to correct some wrong impressions. But let's come back home and discuss quite some few things that might inspire all of us. So that is why today's topic, it's about the relics of the past. The relics of the past. the pains of the future, of the present, the invasion of 1897, the relics of the past, the invasion of 1897, and the pains and the problems, the difficulties of the present, of the future. As an ethnic group, we are one of the most victimized people in the entire world. What happened during the British invasion in 1897? What happened during the British invasion 1897 was not, if it had happened to other ethnic nationalities, if it had happened to every other ethnic nationalities, they would have been lost in history. But we are still here, trying to find our feet, trying to put things right as best as a people, trying to get a better future for our generations yet unborn. It is important that we must get a lot of these things correctly, so as to chart a more purposeful future. I know a whole lot of you ask, why have I allowed Mokifis to be here in this program? I allowed him because I know, I'm convinced strongly that through my program he will get the salvation. Through my program he will get to know the truth that whatever fight he think he's fighting is self-centered, selfish, and is going to drown him. So, but I've always realized that there shouldn't be discrimination between ourselves, even when some have a variant opinion. During the British invasion in 1897, the Izoduwa of that era said, "Okuna makame, a Benin man who abandoned his people." Don't forget, is almost supposed to be, is the second in command in our war generalissimo after the Iyase. Izoduwa is the next in command. He was supposed to be the chief protector of our history. But instead, he said he had no crime against the British, and as such, enyo siame ovenye or siame nogbedo. These are some of the stories that have not been told. The Ezomo of the British invasion 1897 deliberately abandoned his king to his fate. Owelude enyo siame nogbedo enye ologbose enyo baisiagbon enyo enenemi no yagbebo. He had a lackadaisical attitude towards his people. Eventually, the Benins lost that war. What became him? He regretted that because some of the houses that were eventually burnt down was Ezomon's house. Was Ezomon's house. So in times of war, there are no neutrality. It's either you are in or you are out. It's either you are there or you are not there. It's either you are for or you are against. Shocking. The Iyase of that era also, I can remember that one's name. His name was Okina. Also rebelled against the Benin people. The rebel, why I said you people shouldn't insult him. There's a level that you attain in understanding Benin history. There's a level that the ancestors of this land, of Edo land, might have taken you deep into the miseries of the land. You will not be moved by recalcitrant Edo people, because the fire that the light will eventually burn them. This story is almost the same story of this monkey face. But in this case, his name was Iyase Okina, who rebelled against Benin Kingdom in the year 1899. His whole idea was that there was no need to be a king in Benin Kingdom. Bagidi Obawu, ye no bai unedo, boss ye nedo na goba. And Iyase, who was supposed to know better, his name is Iyase Okina. He protested against the coming back of the Benin monarch. He protested against it fervently in 1899. But a year later, in 1900, he died. 14 years later, the Benin monarch was restored. Why am I sharing this story? Why am I sharing this story with all of you? I'm sharing this story with all of you is that every man or woman that has stood against the Edo people, the monarch and the monarchy, the king and the people, they have all died. The people is still living, still exists, and the king still exists. So, at every generation, they are bound to be rebel. They are bound, and that is why I don't feel what he is doing, there must be a rebel. There is no doubt about it. You understand? They will all die, but the monarch will subsist. That's the beauty. They are bound to be rebels to the throne. They have always been rebels to every thrones of the world. They will all die. The history will remember them, just like the history is remembering Imasuen. We are discussing about him, how he rebelled about there should not be any need for the Benin throne to return. He died a year after, and 14 years later, the throne returned. The history no longer remembers Imasuen. Imasuen is being remembered as a traitor to his people and to the throne. So, how we play our parts, it's how history will remember the part and the roles that we have played. I choose to be in the right side of history. I choose to be an Edo man who stands for his people selflessly. I choose to be an Edo man who will put his life on the track for his people selflessly. How we are remembered by history is based on what side of history we were during our era of lives. So count him as that person who chose the wrong side of history at the time of his life. And history will remember him as that which stood against his people at the time where unity was needed. All right, so having said that, the British invasion of 1897 was meant to crush us. The essence of the British was not only interested in defeating the Edo people. They had no interest. That was not what they were interested only. They were interested in exterminating us from the very surface of the earth. From the very surface of the earth. They saw a very unique race, the most unique of all the races they have met in the African continent. They had one mandate: exterminate them from the surface of the earth. Everything that has to do as regards a Benin man, every single territories that we had was taken away from us and given to our neighbors. And those who dissected our land were not allowed to return back for close to 50 years until they became almost forcefully acculturated to our neighbors. The British plan was to completely destroy us. The British plan is to still destroy us. But we're still here. However, what they did has a devastating capacity on our people. Amaikwe de diao nagamie nari on ivie do yiragbon. ana hulivie dunibun yo tedore. The ones around to the present day southwest were never allowed. In short, there was a protest between 1905 to 1907 of the Edo indigenes around to the Yoruba, present day Yoruba land, that they wanted to return home. But the British said, on no account should anybody who has left the city, Benin City, to return back. So they were serious in ensuring that an ethnic group, a race called the Edo race, a kingdom or an empire called the Benin, should never be seen. But shockingly, our ancestors prevailed. We are still here. But we need to get it right. We need to get it right. Otherwise, we are no longer, our destiny no longer lies in the hands of the British. Our destiny solely lies on our hands. And how we go about it will determine the future that we might create for our generations unborn. The relics of the past has really affected us. In all ways, psychologically, emotionally, in all ways that you can think of. In all ways that you can think of. But what can we do to salvage the situations? That is what is most important. That is what is most important. I'd like to talk about the failure of our elites. I'd like to talk about it briefly. And I'd like, by the power of God and our ancestors willing, I'd like to make it a topic on how shameful our so-called elites are. The times of kings are not gone. That's what you don't understand. Osakwe. When God created us, He created us with a structured leadership. The leadership of the kings. By nature, we are Republican people. Have you seen when Benin people conspire against the king? Have you seen? Have you read some of these conspiracies against the king? Any conspiracy against the king in the history of Benin, when the Umanag Banedo ya conspire against the Oba, they all succeeded. Now, the only one they did not succeed was Obaesige. The reason they did not succeed was not the Edo people that fought the king. It was a section of the Edo people, Abihaim, that fought the king. That's why they did not succeed. If it was the entire Edo people, they would certainly have succeeded. But the consequences of some of these actions took us hundreds of years back, because in all of this conspiracy against the monarch, we will eventually later realize the essence of the bond between the people and the king. And I haven't enough times I've stressed this bond. This bond has to be balanced. It has to be a scale of 50-50. Oba or Edo, Edo or Oba. It's a scale of 50-50. Alright? If the people overshadows the Oba, they are bound to be anarchy. If the Oba overshadows the people, they are bound to be anarchy. The traditional institution of the Edo people must understand that it's a balance. You give to the people give to you. The power that the monarch possesses is drawn from his people. The relevance of the kingship is from the people. Amiedune akemioba oba uswemani no sa di no tedo yanyo se. We must understand this balance. In one of our topics, I'm going to speak on this balance. All right, but let me not deviate. My grief today is against our elites, or our so-called elites. We have had series of struggles. We have had the Benin just struggle. In recent times, the struggle that I'm aware of. The Benin just struggle at Gelegele environs. We had the Benin Shekiri struggle at Ologbo. And even in recent times, the kingship of the Olu of Warri. I'm yet to see any of the elites. When I mean elites, I'm talking about the Enigis. I'm talking about the Ohens. I'm talking about the Okaigilis. I'm talking about the Okaios. Those that are traditionally empowered to be a servant to the Edo people. What roles have they played in recent times to assist the Edo nationality to fight for the survivor of the Edo people? The old Benin society was built on a foundation of selflessness. Emi no kind do or kind ye do. Ekinana yoya no viedo ne ogi kan egbedo. Adesuwa was a daughter of Izomo, and she was murdered by the Obuluku king. Edo na be ari obi edo zese awano. Gaya tam Obuluku king. Osuima ogbe, and a war was declared upon. I can give you examples of killing a Benin person, how it has led to Benin waging war against ethnic groups or neighboring towns who killed one of them. The strength of unity. Akugbewaro. There was selflessness. There were people who were selfless to the very cause of Benin land. Extremely selfless. But today, what do we have? Bunch of useless, stupid, ragged, self-centered leaders. I see them a lot and I feel so ashamed of their ignorance, of their dishonesty, of their stupidity, even as elders, who in times of turbulence and troubles, they were supposed to be the bastion, some we need to lean on. But you see those guys? They are fucking self-centered. Aside the Benin traditional, aside the Benin monarch, I don't think we have any other leadership. Is there any Edo man that you think every Edo man must run to? Aside the Oba Benin? At all. Because they are all bloody self-centered, egocentrical bunch of... They can only be interested if we are mere way. It's not very difficult for you to see a Benin man who does not have interest. If whose interest is not protected, will be able to put it every single thing out to fight for the nationality of his people. It's very difficult, and that's why we are not great anymore. I tell people that when Benin start getting some of the essentialities of the old society right, when they start getting it right, that's the only way that a lot of these little things, no wima or the baby ade, until we start to critically look inward to examine the problems of ourselves as a people. We're going to be... See, after the British did all they had to do, I don't know how they did it. Suddenly, we became people who no longer recognizes themselves anymore. They no longer recognizes the sacrifices of the old. How the ancestors of the old built a civilizations that was incomparable. And I give hundreds of reasons. I tell them that the difference between the Benins of old and the Benins of present is miles apart. They are not the same in all categories. They are not the same. Edo, Nede, Vedo, Vedenena. They are not the same. They are miles apart. They are hundreds, millions of miles apart. Millions of miles apart. We no longer have morals. And morals is almost zero. Again, there. Me we do equine we wo radio bokan o yan we gbon no marwe. You know, they had pride. The pride that they had was not the useless pride that we now have. The pride of that's the useless pride now. But knowing fully well that the old Benin society was built on hard work and excellence. I've talked about this in several occasions, that hard work, a variable. See, we tried to hide. We tried to hide under the guise of religion. It is not religion. See, our problem is beyond religion. Don't forget, during the times of Obaisigi, There was religion, but the Benins had a unity of purpose. They were not divided. That is why I tell people, that is why a lot of people had mistook what I stand for their own modernity of current trends. I will not discriminate against an Edo man because he's a Christian. Because there were Christians in Benin somewhat 500 years ago. But the leadership was able to harness them to have a unity of purpose. The Benin society is so old that we can have all set of religion in Benin Kingdom and still will be able to strive, because to us it was nationality first before, even when we were practicing our core tradition of the old, there were different schools of tradition. There were people who were Olokun servers. There were people who practiced the divinity of Osagbaye. There were Iha practitioners. These are different schools of divinity, but there were no clashes. Or segenaya fiyagi fiya, or segenaya bobolokun agi bobolokun. These are different schools of religiosity or different schools of tradition that beckons basically on different ideas. The worshipping of Olokun, the worshipping of Osagbaye, the worshipping of Uheniyi. And there were people who were disciples of Ovia. There were people who were disciples of Okwae. These were different ideas, but the most of all, I hear now that if you do a man, a Benin man, Odwa now stays with, and I hear that Benin women now feed Benin men in overseas. Ordinarily, I said the generation of now and the generation of old are million years apart. That ohu ogiriyo biayo wa. No. I'm sure all the ancestors of this land, from head to toe, the royal ancestors, the ancestors of this land, wherever they are weeping in pains of what the Benin people have turned into. From our classes, the pride of an Edo man is being rumbled on the mud every day, because we have failed, we have shifted from the ways of the old, where Benin man takes pride. Benin men were known to be hardworking people. I go to work on Sunday. I go to work Monday to on Sunday. I go to work from Monday to Sunday. What a Benin man knows is hard work, excellent. I started 3 years ago. I was doing CFO for lands and properties. I've grown from doing CFO for lands than to be. I have two estates now in Edo State. When people said, how do I do it? And I said, I draw inspiration from the old, because I know where I will be in the next 5 years, and probably have one of the biggest estates in Nigeria, because I know where I will be in the next 5 years, because I draw inspiration from the old. The Benins of old were fucking hardworking. Abe Irionona Eroge came I attach Ikbobai. It's a pride. In the cycles of elders, in the cycles of Egele, they take pride in. At that time, it was agriculture. They take pride. The ending. Because they took pride in hard work. Hard work was an hallmark of an Edoma. Edoma works hard, very hard, for himself, for his immediate family, and for his extended family. So, but what we see now is that parents have failed in their duties to their children. Is that the children have completely dissociated themselves from the ways of the world. So it is disturbing that we don't have mentors. Who are you going to rely on? As a Benin man, I stay in Benin. I'm talking from Benin now. I've interacted with quite some of these elders, and if you see the way some of our elders think, no, I can't remember the last time I had a conversation with a lot of elders where they were discussing via Nedwaya Temu. They don't think about it anymore. Nobody gives a damn about what becomes the future of the Edo people in the next 50 years. Nobody gives a damn about it anymore. That is a problem. It is rather shocking that the people who gives a damn about what Benin can be is our age group. Then the elders who are supposed to give the STEM leadership to us, they don't even give a damn. No wonder the Yoruba forced all the kind of history upon them, and then none of them spoke, none of them reacted. They just said, "What came out?" You need to see community leaders. Let's talk a little bit about you need to see them. Do you know what all those guys are interested? How to sell lands, both legally and illegally. How to use the profit to carry goods of low virtue. How to use the profit to build filling station. How to use the profit to build a guest house or a hotel. No one cares about what will become the future of an Edo man, of an Edo children. Nobody talks about it anymore. No one talks about it anymore. They're more interested in selling lands, in giving fake judgment, in... Do you know Benin men not takes pride in sleeping with another man's wife? They not takes pride in discussing it. Benin men not takes pride in discussing it. That Mawa love kokuni. Okunu love kokuni ro wodo bi hen ya. We're not. Lest we forget the product. All the useless social media people, all those people having money banana with social media, discussing about their husbands and wives. I see them. I don't discuss about it. It's none of my business. It's because of the failure of the homes that most of them grew up from. It's because of the failure of the families that these people grow up from. What is abominable? What is a total abomination? No. This is not the land that our ancestors fought for, to be very candid. And sometimes when we wake up and see all the tragedies, all the abominations that is going on in our land, we just say that, was it the same Benin that I read so much about? Is it the same Benin that our ancestors were glad to die for? Is it the same Benin that was a terror? Is it the same Benin that neighboring towns, villages, communities were afraid to even mention the names? You know, or your do azedo. I think that's where the whole issue is about language and all that. I don't want to, so that people shouldn't say, Fosedo. The Benins were so proud. The Benins feel that their tribe is so unique that if you do not share the blood of an Edo man, you cannot dare speak the Edo language. It is instant death that we do. It's because of how we saw ourselves in the old. We saw ourselves as a tribe that was too unique. That was too unique. We saw our tribe as a tribe that had no comparison, because it was evidential what we achieved hundreds and thousands of years ago. Nobody was able to achieve it. The feat, the war, the victory, the organization, the morals, the ethics, the values, the philosophy of our country was simply unbelievable. Then the excellence, the honesty, the integrity, above all, truth. Above all, truth. A matter. A matter. We no longer have a pride as a nation, as a people. We no longer, what pride? What pride? If you take the pride of the Oba of Benin out from the Edoma, we are finished. What other things do we have? Go to Egun, those people cannot even construct any bronze anymore. Go to Egun. If you take the Oba off the chart, an Edoma becomes zero. Because what do an Edoma have? Let's start stating it. Are we the most educated? Are we the most developed? Are we the most advanced? Is our city the finest? What do we have outside the Oba of Benin? Outside the Oba of Benin, as an Edoma, we are finished with those nuisance miscreants on social media, having a Banwani or because they want to get 3,000 views, or because they want to make money from social media. If you're doing maybe level, okay. In education, they don't even want to go to school anymore. Don't you get? You see that here, Libya, at Italy, at Spain. So I've had situations whereby I had a discussion with quite some of my friends about a year ago or 2 years ago, and said that, Marvis, what are you doing in Nigeria with all the small money you don't gather? Run, go Canada. And I told them that Oriove or Kisiri. Let me tell you how myopic we are in terms of do you know that the institutions, like economic institutions that are working in Benin, the few economic institutions that are making quite a lot of profits in Benin, they are not owned by any Benin man. Outside hotel, club, filling station, event center, the Benins do not invest in any other thing in their land. Do not invest in any other thing in their land. Let me not talk about some of the economic opportunities that other Igbo. Now, the Igbos, Igbo, they're almost taking the economic power from us in Benin. Then I asked him, that's 2 years ago, and I asked him, why should I leave? While we are leaving our lands for the so-called greener pastures, other ethnic groups are coming into our land and they are making it big, buying excessive plots of land, because I deal in lands. I see how an Igbo man will say, I beg, give me 20 plots there. Why a Benin man can hardly buy 1 plot? We are leaving our lands. Foreigners are coming into our land. They are making money from our land while we are busy sleeping on the streets of Europe. Outsiders are coming into our land to have an economic power. That's the reason I said I will not leave Benin till I die. Because agbonyaga bavo evo woto yarisi ahari do bawo with the set of the Benin mindset. They don't fucking care what becomes Benin tomorrow. They don't fucking care what becomes the future of the land. All they are only interested is Gario, Bambana. They don't fucking care what becomes of the land. And why? Yeah, man. So that is why I'm stuck here. I'm going nowhere. Let the entire Benin people move from Benin City. Izoduwa, Pama. If you're going could Kisiri, and they are making it so big in Edo State, I or Motor must make it so big here. I have no business going to any other countries of the world. Why people are making so much from here? I have told myself 3 years ago, and I'm gradually climbing the ladder because I'm working really very hard. Those who have ideas about businesses should return home. First, we have to seize the economic power. People are talking about what is the solution. Yes, we have to seize the economic power. How do we seize the economic power? Let me take you back to how our ancestors were faring. Itan of Edo Orunpa Eziwa. Don't. Oh, you are not aware? I think my father, I aware a woman until date. My father is a farmer, a proud farmer. I'm a son of a farmer. The age grade, friends, groups, they'll come together. Yeah, I go on a fee. I go a fee. Or you say and not by way of fee. Yeah, we cook. Yeah, we are cook. Yeah, we are cook. Yeah, go on a fee. Now, what does that breed? It breeds unity of purpose. What one strength can carry, 10 can carry it. Benin should start. We understand the distrust, the dishonesty amongst a lot of us, but they are still very honest Benin people. The Benin people should start building an association of economic interest. You are a Benin man. You are a Benin man. You are a Benin man. You know of another Benin man. What is stopping you for you guys combining resources together? The first thing we need to see is the economic power. A lot of you are not going to listen. You understand? We are not seizing the economic power, and that's why how many Benin people are really rich? Very few. Oh, you are not aware. Yes, you are right, Eugene. If I even been a Benin that's not redo, no temedo. Imagine I say 20. I been in Hilton in a belly hotel. As all those ones that you call Benin. It made me for my brother because I deal with them daily. Those people you think they will gladly sell a Benin elder. We gladly sell another Benin elder without thinking twice. If an Igbo gives them better money, without thinking twice. Then you think Izoduwa will come out and say, have you ever, for those of you who have been following me for the past 4 years, have you ever seen me praised people? I just come out, I praise people. Only few people I praise. Very few people. And I can name them. One, the Yasser of Benin is a very upright man. 2, Dr. Aishen Ehagosa, he took his time. He took his time to write a lot of books that a lot of us have read. One man that fought the Ijo and took Ijo in the 70s, Chief Iyoma, I think he's still alive now. He's the Oka of Gilegile. Professor Uyilo Waswanlele, who is still writing a lot of books. There's a project, it might be live. There's a project the pastor we should work on a book. A project in my remember a boy. You wanna boom bo. You say Domosa do not run like Professor Uyilo is the first and the only Edo man to have 2 doctorates in 2 PhD in one of the Canadian university and another PhD in the University of Ibadan. He has 2 PhD in history. So he's currently a professor of history, African history in Oswego University, New York. All right, and it's another amazing man that will die for Benin matter, though he's far away in the United States. Then my papa, Mr. Ikoriogi Obobaifo. I think they are finished. Have you ever seen me praise any politician in Benin? You can't see me comment about them. Because a man who cannot fight for his land cannot get my praise. So for me to praise anybody, is it the Niki? Which of the Niki? I am ni walking, talking, you're working 10,000 hectares. That thinking of the future. Do you know now, in some of the communities in Benin City now, the For example, in Obage Newosa, for example, I have friends who came from Obage Newosa. They are not buying land in their own community. You know, they also will deceive their own town people. Yeah, is that? In other words, most of the communities in city centers, even a time is already coming. We are already in the time that Benin people will be buying their own land from foreigner. It has gotten to that point already. Not a time is coming. Also, because I know of a man, of a guy from in Spain that called me that he wanted to buy land from Obage Newosa. Along the line we were talking. Then I told him, he not told me that we are Obage Newosa. I was laughing. We are Obage Newosa. Many are your tongue. Or we are calling Noge what are you? Eh? Or where we walk by hang good dotor. Near Bowag. So that's is this the same people they are calling our leader? They are all fucking zero. Sorry, I'm using the F word. Sorry, I'm using the F word. I'm sorry. Anyway, if we begin to talk about, it's not a cause. It's already happening. I just cited an example of one amongst several. And Igbo might tell me for that same Obage Newosa, say, they tell me, say, bro, yes, say, na land you the deal on. I get 6 plots. Me they no get your dash me based on say, now we be the machinery. Me that they use for the community till they fight. Ose me bare wage a Friday. A Friday. My wife phone away. That was last year. We bonad wa time me do to boy. E no get 6 plots in here. This is the same enoge that will not dash it beneath my half plots. Or just 6 plots in here. The man do devil boy are very genuine. This is the same enoge that I do time I have enoge I talk by. Amen. Saloba women now. See, the truth is, I hate to criticize our people. I hate it. That is why I don't speak about it. But a time has to come, we have to start standing up and saying that what we now call normal is actually abnormal. The things that we think is normal now is actually abnormal. And we have to start making practical effort to correct it. We have to start making practical effort. It's almost getting normal if we accept it to become normal. And that is what I'm afraid of. I'm not saying these things cannot be corrected. We must first of all agree as a people that what is happening in Edo land is abnormal. So that we will know that even sununa awa no, even sununa is awa. You know, when we have accepted that it's abnormal, then we have to start discussing on how we can make corrections of how we can salvage the almost lost situation. These are examples. These are one of the very numerous problems that we have. All these things I'm talking, a lot of people are Okbana hina way obun how can it be attributed to poverty? It is not poverty. It is even more of like laziness. If you do you only a winner, it's not poverty. Are we the poorest people in the world? We have all it takes to be one of the richest ethnic groups in the world, but we are not taking advantage of the richness of our soil, of the richness of the of the natural resources that is heavily embedded, because we became mediocres. If a Benin man has 10 million naira in his account, he's contented. Oviedo Ahmed 10 million account, he's contented. Yeah, Dava Wowa, where a guy named 5 billion account, don't know it's 10 million. 10 million we are blow a bamba and 1 year full. We're not the poorest people. We just became the laziest people. We no longer want to work. We take pride in things that are not important. We became mediocres. I've said it before now, that the bronze work of the Edo people should speak volume for us. When you take the bronze work, now we are gonna there. The bronze work that was done 600 years is better than the bronze work they are not doing in 2021 in Egun, because the people who did it were excellent in their duties to the land. They put the whole of their soul, the whole of their mind, the whole of their strength in producing those magnificent relics of our past, those magnificent acts of our past. Those people who casted, those people who molded, those people who carved those beautiful artifacts, those beautiful artworks, they were no mediocres. They were excellent people. They were people who really distinguished themselves. And that is why their artwork stands out in wherever it's presented with every other artworks in the world. They're excellent people in their duties. How can you have 10 million in your account, you are contented, when your mates, they are having 10 billion in their account and yet they are not contented? It's the spirit of mediocrity. We must kill it. We must kill it. It's a problem. We have complications of problems. I tell people, complications of problems. Complications of problems. Complications of problems. Leadership. When was the last time you ever heard that an Enoge came out and said that Enoge Sunu were doing man? Like in the past 3 weeks to 4 weeks, I have been coming out. Likewise, some other patriotic Edo persons have been coming out to speak against what the Oni of Ife and the likes were trying to influence or did influence the throne of the Oluwari. I will not be speaking. Who were the people who spoke against it? Is it not you and I? We are the elders of the land. Did they say anything about it? None of them said anything about it. Have you seen that all these elders coming out to speak against these historical fallacies being propagated against the Benin? This when the Shekiris were claiming Ologbo, when it just were claiming Gilegile, did you see any of them coming out to speak against it? All of them were all fucking mute. Sorry, I'm using the word, the F word. I apologize for that. They were all fucking mute. When was the last time you saw a Benin elder or elders coming together to speak on some of these problems that are affecting us as a people? When was the last time you ever heard? They are more concerned about themselves and their family. So I completely robbed those I completely robbed those guys off for whatever. They don't represent the interest of what becomes the future of the Edo people tomorrow. They don't represent it. Today we'll talk about Izoduwa. How many of them have done it fit that okay came in and very few, if there are any. Like I will always say Yasser of Benin because I'm close to him. I see how he cries every day about a lot of these things. Yeah, no one is concerned. Yet a kiawu in a kiawu or muya ononaya loveke or hononaya loveko. Nonsense. Is that the problem that we as a people are facing? Is that the solution to myriads of problems that we are currently facing as a people? Is that the solution? The relics of our past. These are the same people that a lot of us worship. Wonder what guys. I give me one on temata level. Okay, I want to have a net there. I will me ba. So when they were able to build a magnificent empire, do you think the empire was built on lies? Do you think the empire was built on mediocrity? Do you think the empire was built on laziness? Do you think the empire was built on self-centeredness? It was not a question of, it wasn't even a question. Like when I celebrated my birthday, I wrote something. I thank God I moved from Eogai to Egele. And when I said Egele, and I said I'll be able to, I am now, the ancestors have now given me, has taken me to a ranking where I can even more defend the kingdom. It was not a question. It was a question of Obagyun. Agmoya agbina mo yoko na. Be ya badesu wa mo yoko na agbo do zese. You know, stuff like that. These people were united in purpose. These people were ready to die so that we can have a pride. We can have a system that we can glorify. With the labor of these great heroes and these great heroines of our land be in vain because the current trends of Edo people are so backward, ignorant, mediocre, selfish, in all ramifications. No ramifications. No ramifications. Anyway, let us all ruminate on what I've talked about. Let us have a retrospective view of what is currently ongoing in Edo land. Let us come up. Let us have a feasibility study of the myriad of problems that we currently have. And let us see how we can consciously start working towards savaging the situation that we currently face as a people. when we get it right, it becomes easy for other people who left for whatever reasons, historical reasons, to start attaching themselves. It is easier now for Ishekiri to now say they are Yorubas, not that they know that they are Yorubas, but because they feel that Yorubas have distinguished themselves more than the Edo people. Let us ruminate on this. The relics of our past. Let us understand what makes the old Benin society to attain the greatness that they attained. And let's start to imbibe the philosophy of the old to guide us to the modern eras. It will distinguish us. I'm always a proud Benin man anywhere I go, because I carry the history dearly to my heart, the history of our ancestors. I carry their pride, I carry their integrity, I carry their truth, I carry their honesty, I carry the power of their excellence, I carry everything. Along with me, and that is why I distinguish myself. I'm a symbol of what makes an Edo man Edo man. Ike gwanwu webu. I must first of all anytime I come online like this to discuss about one historical thing or the other, do you think I have to my phone is currently sitting, this phone that I'm using is currently sitting on books. Let me turn the camera. It's currently sitting on several books. So that people can see. It's currently sitting. These are few of the collections of books in my private library. So in other words, when I talk, I know I'm convinced about what I'm saying. A Benin man must learn to distinguish himself in all ramifications. Anyway, night of shame and Atangbe. Next week Sunday is another avenue for we to rub minds. I might open the line next week Sunday so that people can call through, so that we can rub minds. I've told you, these are not all, these are just few. We can begin to now talk about the problems. We can begin to now talk about roots of the problems that is facing us as a people, and I start bringing practical ways on how to salvage the situation. On how to salvage the situation. And I'm happy that when I started to advocate for this land 4 years ago, for our land 4 years ago, that we are no longer that dormant people. Benins are not speaking. Benins are not defending. I'm happy. And I'm also grateful to those who helped me, even if some of them we are no longer friends or brothers. We are still brothers. We will forever remain brothers. We're no longer friends. But I'm happy. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I saw that young man who was enthusiastic about his heritage, who was enthusiastic about his culture, who was enthusiastic about his history. They picked me up and supported me. I showed them 2017, that's 4 years ago. I had assured them that I would never let them down. Though we had our differences, but I still haven't let them down. See that young man who has kept the fire burning. And I'm lighting a lot of torches. When I receive a lot of calls about people who gives testimony of how much they have been inspired by some of the works I have done, I feel very proud. Both in the deep thought of being proud, there's always a keen, sober reflection behind it that tells me that there is so much more that is still needed. So much more. Anyway, I thank all of you. I thank those who will see this and listen to this and want to genuinely want to help. They are fighting us from left, right corners, and I'm thankful to those who are holding forth. May God and our ancestors keep us all strong to being able and willingly to defend our land with the purest of our minds, with the trueness of our character, and with the uprightness of our attitude. I thank all of you. Edomayoku Yamamwegbe. I will soon organize a seminar. I was just thinking aloud 3 days ago. I think the ancestors were saying there's a need for a seminar. I'm going to sponsor the seminar sometime next month. The seminar is to bring together these young Benin guys, the ones that are in Nigeria, wherever they are. Seminar 2-3 days. I'm going to invite all of them to Benin so we can discuss a more coherent force on the social media space. The more coherent force on the social media space, because they are gathering against us every single day. They are gathering because they do not have history except they want to steal our history. Their history can never be complete without mentioning the history of Benin. Their agenda cannot be actualized without crippling the Benin. So we are a stumbling block to any agenda in Nigeria. So we have to fortify ourselves in all dimensions and ramifications. I'll call that seminar. I'll Call that seminar soon. Call that seminar soon. And again, let it be known, I pride myself in this. Izoduwa has never collected a dime from any elite, whether in face of politicians and all that. I don't go to them. To me, they are inconsequential. They are not interested in the fight that we are fighting. They are only interested in their pocket and the pocket of their children's children. Izoduwa have never collected any money from any elite and will never collect anything from them, because iyakpa mudiase uyani maena imaye gario evetenena nyakpa mudiase ujani maena imaye gario jai bai vedera nyamamudiase so ya bizugbian. I thank all of you. So let's keep the fire burning. I thank all of you. And so, sorry, I couldn't scroll through all the commentaries. So when I'm done with the video, once I'm done with any video, I usually listen. That's what I do. When I do that, a lot of persons usually, some friends of mine around usually get angry. Usually get angry because whenever I do any video like this, I have to listen to it from the start to the beginning, so that if I made any mistake, if I made some utterances that were inappropriate, because probably I might have been angry, I will not try to make further corrections. So in course of me listening to the video before I sleep today, I'll be able to see some of the commentaries and suggestions from all of us. Then from there, I can be able to table some of the suggestions to the house next week Sunday. Don't forget, don't worry, the one of Amowie of Ife, I had said it that I'm going to deal with. We will. I said one whole seminar on top of the guy matter, since he believes in propaganda. We want to use that propaganda to tire him. Money, if you wake up, you will see Benin matter for front page for any magazine they read. If you open social media, will they discuss a matter? That propaganda will use and tire the Amowie of Ife. See, we never get resources. We never get resources, but we get wisdom. Me want to deal with those people, and a day ancestors don't bless us. Ancestors, their legacies will be unveiled again through some of us. So we get all the tactics, they owe all these people for brokos. But we never want to talk. I don't write 7 steps to tackle the Amowie of Ife a day, and they take on step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. By the time I'm done with these steps, anyway, see Benin matter again for a life before you join access, we'll talk put. I dey cook matter every day on top of my laptop. Since you say, obi yen dio boy kind to egbere e do ogbo hu e do na o kan. When Oba tell him for your own face, October 20, 2016, he had, I think that's the day he made up his mind, because Oba told him to his face on the day of coronation, told him to his face that your Izoduwa is a Benin man. He could not muster any infantry to challenge. In 2004, I Remember Your Obedient Servant was a book that was officially launched right in the city center, in the heart, University of Ibadan. Oba Benin went to Yoruba land, wherefore he proved who Oduduwa was in Yoruba land. And in 2016 again, 12 years later, his son, Obaire, our son, in the person of Obaire II, right in the face of the Oni of Ife, told him that the Kaladera, Oduduwa is a Kaladera. He could not say anything other than to go and be doing all this petty, chiefly propaganda. Now, we will use the propaganda tyrant. Anyone, Wadomo, we have to end this program like right now. So I thank all of you. I thank all of you that has taken time to watch this program. God bless all of you, and I pray to God and our ancestors to continue to keep all those Benin people or Ledo people in general who genuinely have the mind Omanogimo gen done usanu dazi venikao oga yemabo nogimo gen done. These are about the only people I can pray for. Those who are patriotic enough to the cause of the Edo land. God Almighty and our ancestors bless us all, or bless you all. Tiens, Emiya, no Emiya, Navi Nikao ya Bwedo. Emiya no Emiya Eruya Nidu na Nana do mebe do se me no serve de nena Avin ruya na wo giso ni yan do lewa seva no do mi agbada Wukete or Ekitora Oba. Will bless us all, will guide us all, recalibrate our mind to do what is right. The legacies of all the kings of Benin, the sweat of their honesty, the sweat of their integrity, the sacrifices of the heroes and the heroines of this land, the legacies of the past, we endure through all of us. Legacies of the past, we endure through all of us. Tio Sanu Dazi Venikao. Say about talk by about talk by say. So I'll see you guys 7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. So thank you all very much. God bless all of you. Waya domo.